Uh-oh, Timmy. It looks like Paradox has made a few changes to the game. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Hearts of Iron 4 video, where today we're actually not going for any achievements or any weird challenges. No, we're just going to play the game because Paradox has updated it. Or I wouldn't say necessarily updated it. There's a beta with an update that you can play all summer until it comes out and probably ruins all your strategies. That's right, Paradox has made a few changes in the game, added some new technologies, changed old technologies, and even gone ahead and ruined everything by making combat with different in provinces. And we're gonna go ahead and give it a little look today because there is a few things that we need to talk about. Okay, first things first, one of the most important changes is air. Look at that. They've added a few new technologies and kind of spread out a couple of the others. So yeah, now we have even more stuff to research in air, like more cast bombs. We can get ourselves some armor piercing bombs, which I think are mostly used against ships. So yeah, today I'm pretty much just going to be playing a game and showing you all the fun stuff. So mostly for the playing, we don't have to worry yet. We will have to worry later, but one of the things I do want to point out now is that with your planes, if you actually give a look at them, they actually get a lot less agility than they would usually. But if you have excess thrust on your planes, that does now translate into a bit more agility. But now I feel like you're really going to have to keep paying attention to your agility stat, especially on your cast as well, because as soon as these things get bombing, that's 9 agility right there. But one of the major things that I am very happy about is that they have actually changed super heavy tanks. They are no longer a unit on the map, they are a support company. But we're gonna get around to looking at that later. There's gonna be a lot of memes with that one, but for now we're gonna play Italy for a good reason, and that's simply because they get a very good bonus to getting super heavy tanks later. As first things first, we need to beat up the Ethiopians, and as I mentioned before, there have been a few terrain changes, which I'll add the combat with picture here, right here. Look, this is what they changed into. Essentially, Paradox just wants a lot of your units to be designed a lot smaller than they kind of get late game, where they just end up all being 40 whips, which makes a lot of sense. Because for big urban tiles, 86 combat width does make sense, but maybe for a mountain tile, I'm not too sure how you're going to be getting like 500,000 men up on this damn thing. You're going to rush through Ethiopia, so I don't have to worry about them forever being at war with me. Well, such a fun mechanic, by the way, Paradox. Okay, so as funny as your bald head might be, Mr. Benito, I'm going to get rid of you today in this game. Now, in the patch, have also been a few naval rebalances as well, but realistically, who the hell asked? You're all still just gonna run around with a big death stack, and so am I. Alright, so as you can tell, we're going for a early war with France with a definitely non-cheese strat. Okay, this is where Paradox has actually finally patched this. They didn't tell me. And there you go. Also got ourselves one collab on the French, and that should be more than enough to finish them off. And should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's also get the British while we're at it. So I say it all the time, but a very handy tip for your paratroopers: if you don't put up planes, neither will your enemy, so you never have to worry about getting air supremacy. Unsurprisingly, there's like nothing in the UK to stop me. There's my Navian out there though, so let's see how badly you guys get raided going across. Nope, they just completely made it across unscathed. There you go. The Allies no longer exist. I also got Romania and Yugoslavia in there, but not Greece. So it's safe to say Prague's definitely didn't change that strat, that's for damn certain. Yes, we did need to do that because I have a cheese strat, and my cheese strat requires a hell of a lot of industry, and we've now secured the industry. Letting the Spanish invade me so that I can lower a certain somebody's authority. There we go. Don't mind if I do. So with that dealt with, now all we need to get was our non-aligned up, and we can go over here and get the monarchy back in fashion. Also, that somehow gets us Mussolini back because he got all his support for winning the war, which is just funny, really. Kind of hilarious how back and forward you can go with getting this guy back in and out of power. Right, so this is the plane we are going to go with. It is all just heavy machine guns with engines free on an improved hull with self-sealing armor plates and a drop tank, and the agility is 51. I'm pretty sure that is a lot lower than it would be normally. In comparison, this is what it's like in the current patch. Wow, that much so different. Now, we could go ahead and get it even more agility by upgrading to double engines, which I am going to do. That will give us more thrust, and the extra thrust we don't need for the plane will go into agility. Obviously, that adds to more of a price on the plane, but we have quite a bit of industry, funnily enough. And also, the Soviets are declaring war on us for Bessarabia. Not too worried, though. I think it's a bit too late for that one, Stalin. I mean, you've already lost 574,000 men trying to take it. Go the Germans invading the Soviets. I don't really care too much about that. I didn't want any of the Soviet land anyway. I just want to go ahead and get myself the Pope. Yeah, I think it's safe to say Cass ain't getting that much agility anymore. Yeah, not that it really mattered too much, but some people do like to make Cass fighters, and yeah, it's just it's not very good anymore. And obviously, it's still pretty beneficial. You could just take off the anti-tank too, which is the big thing that like knocks off a lot of the agility on that, and still get quite high agility. And then obviously on mission, it'd go down to half, which I think might actually be more beneficial. I mean, you still get 16 ground attack compared to the 31 ground attack. Okay, so it is half, but it also probably you won't lose as many because these guys do actually have quite a bit of defense and attack. Hi, German Denmark. Oh, they don't even have Denmark. They're just okay. So, interestingly enough, from what I've noticed right here, these torpedoes are actually much worse than the starting ones you had before. I think the starting ones were like 15. Now they start off at 9, and then the second one is 15, but the latest one you get up to 20. So there is a better naval bomber now, technically. Another thing is there are large cannons that are in between Cannons 2. Cannons 2 is now much later, and these kind of take the role of that. They're not as good, but they are better than Cannons 1, obviously. Although it is pretty much like not that much of a difference. They have 22 attack and 10 weight, which is the big thing, and these have 24 6 weight and less agility loss. So these are better, but good luck getting them. We're in 1941 right now. Gotta get another 870 days to get them. Which in comparison, considering you never really go for cannons too much anymore, you just kind of have your heavy guns. I'm not really sure if Cannons 2 will ever see much use anymore. Big thing with the combat width changes is that you really want something divisible by the amount it is. So with a combat width of 82, if you divided that by 4, that'd be like 20.5. So you could have 4 units of 20 width, essentially, in that tile. Obviously, this is going to be making things a bit more difficult when you get to like hills where the combat width is 72, or even worse if you're like in I think marshes and mountains, which even less. There's a 65 on a mountain. I'm not sure you're really going to be able to fit in here. Right, the Japanese declared war on me, but unfortunately for them, I'm about to unleash the beast. See, Paradox found out that, I'm assuming, by the way, that nobody uses the super heavy tank for very good reason. It's absolute trash. So in their grand wisdom, they have decided that super heavy tanks can now be support companies. Now, of course, these things are disgustingly expensive, but with enough time, you only require 20 per support company. And let me just show you how much that does. So here we have our empty division. Here it is with a super heavy tank in it. Yeah, that is, I think, the most powerful support company you can now get in the game. Yeah, so if I was just to have some plebby 20 width marine divisions right here, and I really wanted to give them some power to land on the beaches, boom! They have 85 armor. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting and amazing at the exact same time. That's just 20 super heavy tanks, which I don't think is going to be a problem at all. And bearing in mind as well, the super heavy tank I'm designing, I think I can get the soft attack even higher on this bad boy, because I don't even have the better howitzers yet. So there you go. With the heavy howitzer on this bad boy, we got it up to 70 soft attack, which is insane. Now, I did already test before you ask, and no, you can't have it be artillery or even add artillery extra into it, but maybe we can get a flame tank going as well, actually. I'm going to give that a go. And sadly, they have thought about it. You can't also get yourself a damn flame tank on there. But yeah, it is super late game, so I don't think it's that overpowered. The armor is ridiculous, I gotta say, for what it is. But yeah, the soft attack's definitely gonna be the big part. I think a lot of people are actually gonna make super heavies now. And there go the Soviets. Only thing I'm after here is your oil. For obvious reason. You know, my favorite thing is I can now just deploy units over in Vladivostok because technically I got a land capital, land connection all the way from my capital. Yeah. You aren't stopping these Marines. Oh, I hate it. They actually... Yeah, they make the tank noise when they move. Yeah, I think it's safe to say you're going to have one more thing to build late game in Hoi 4 now. Alright, so with our overpowered super heavy tanks of fun, I've gone ahead, I've made a wonderful tank division, which without the super heavy tanks, yeah, okay. I love these things. And we are going to test our new weapons on the Germans, which we have a very interesting border with now. Okay, I kind of went AFK there just to build up a bit more, but it is time. Unleash the dogs on the Germans. These German lines are very, very thick. They've just been building and building and building. We're probably better pushing over here, but I have a better idea. I think this might make it a bit easier to crack those lines. I think this might loosen them up just a little bit. Just drop a nuke on the Germans, then my super ultra marines of doom just kind of roll over them, and yeah, that's how you get 6.7 million casualties on the Germans without even pushing that deep in. Yeah, as for the new combat with changes, I haven't particularly felt any of that so far, so I don't think it's too much of a hassle unless you're really doing some metagamey stuff. So I think all the old ones probably still gonna work the best. Also with the planes, I would find I haven't really noticed too much of a difference. Like I said, it was more of just a delaying of the technology tree, essentially kind of dragging it out a bit more from what I can tell. But I haven't noticed the AI making anything better than me, and look at that, I did find a use for those cannons too. But yeah, agility is definitely lower now, but again, if everyone's agility is lower, it's not really too much of a hassle. In comparison, just switched over to the Germans now, and this is the fighter that they're making, which is just 2 cannons and armor, essentially, which I am having absolutely no trouble tearing through completely. Now, they did also change the way the AI makes units, so if we have a little look here, they're using 21 width and... well, 21 width. Usually this would be spammed out by the AI, so I think they've changed that up a little bit too. I also have no idea about this Marine division with the random mountaineers in there. Although that is a pretty decent tank division. The armor's a bit low, but the AI never really seems to be too good up in the armor on their tanks. But for modern tanks, I guess this would work. Not that the AI really has any of these. But yeah, I think that's why Germany has so many divisions this game as well, is because they are sticking to a very low combat width, whereas usually the AI would make larger divisions, which is maybe gonna lag a few people's games down late game. Yeah, in comparison, we go over to the US, who I guess we all completely forgot were in the game. They've got 475 divisions, and their division template is 25 width with an 80 I'm really not sure about this. Oh, and that is a horrendous tank division. 23 organization. I mean, the stats on it are pretty good, but it's not gonna work with 23 org. Yeah, okay, that is just doesn't even have any support artillery in it. I'm not sure about this one. And if we look at the US one, they've actually got a very good plane, way better than the German one, that's damn sure. And this is pretty much what I would build as well, to be fair. Just heavy machine guns, armor, and then the well, I wouldn't have extra fuel tanks. I'd remove that and put in a self-sealing fuel tanks, because that'll up your air defense. So yeah, not too sure why the Germans are doing whatever they're doing. I guess in comparison, I'm not too sure what the US is doing with their infantry division, or why they're in like a never-ending war with Siam. Yeah, but I reckon we're definitely going to get some larger armies from the AI now. In all fairness, so this is a late-game Germany, and they have been pretty much untouched because they only had the war with the Soviets, which they won very easily. Because of me. Even with their smaller whips and getting more in the combat, my Giga Chad Marines just tear through them. There they go, with all that wonderful equipment, huh? So yeah, if you are going to do super heavy tanks, so you definitely have to do it as Italy, because you do get the bonus down here that makes them way cheaper to produce, and they get even more armor. You just need to go non-aligned, and I think you can do the Pope as well. I was going to do the Pope, but I just kept forgetting to do the decision, and it didn't really matter. But yeah, if you just look at my army fighting like a normal army that's not been spammed out, they just get absolutely destroyed. Like, it's actually quite funny how overpowered these things are. The only thing I don't have them in is my infantry, and I probably could actually get them in there too, and just the fact they get so much piercing and armor and breakthrough and just everything is just so cool, especially for the low cost of 20 super heavy tanks. But I'm sure Paradox is definitely going to change this, or not, because I don't think it's too overpowered. You could probably get away with doing this with just some small units like I did with my Marines, or just your tank divisions, because these things are expensive. And it does say 3 a day right now, but that is in a ridiculous game where I have 1,000 factories. And you know, again, it is a very, very late game tech, and I'm just, Paradox, please don't change this. I love it. Also, I didn't really show it off, but I did also make some torpedo bombers just to deal with the German submarines, and I've got to say, the extra damage you do get off those heavy torpedoes is very noticeable. Well, I should hope you're in charge of it before China. Well, that is definitely all she wrote for today. Now, I gotta say, I do enjoy a lot of the changes. The only one I'm not too sure about, because I didn't really get to test it or see a difference, was the combat whip changes. But from what I could tell with what the AI was building, we may be in for a big shakeup. I mean, just switching over to China now, it looks like, yeah, the AI actually gets rid of all their old templates now, and what the AI does build is very varied between the nations. Like China right now has a 16 whiff, but at least it does have artillery in it. Can't name any names on who might have forgotten that. USA. And also the AI is making good tank divisions here. They are 20 whips, so they are pretty small, but they are correct, and they probably will do some damage if they can ever fill them out, which is always a problem with the AI, as it's not too good managing its industry. But yes, definitely a few things still need testing. I need to look a bit more into the combat whiff and what works and what doesn't, but obviously when your units are so powerful like mine were, I don't think it matters too much. But if you enjoyed this video and you have played the beta patch, feel free to let me know down below how you like it and the changes you did or you didn't like. Personally, super heavy tanks, best thing they've ever done. Obviously, I don't reckon they'll be too useful in every game, but if you're doing a late one, they'll definitely give you units that extra oomph they need. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video and this weird little update recap that I don't really ever do, except I did it for Canada and the British Raj, kind of, feel free to leave a like. Hit the subscribe button down below for more Paradox Hoi 4 news with iSorrowproductions. More news at 10.